Marion's Hit Music, Magic 95.9. That, of course, is Rihanna, Calvin Harris, and We Found Love. And Bigley, we want to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You and I do this every year.
Yes.
Over here on my computer, I have a list of the nominees for the Rock Hall. And I'm going to run down this list, and I want you to tell me what you think. So we've got Chicago and Cheap Trick, Deep Purple and the Cars, Chaka Khan and Chic, the JBs, that's James Brown's band, Janet Jackson, Los Lobos, Steve Miller, NWA, Nine Inch Nails, The Smiths, The Spinners, and Yes, all nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year.
This is one of the best nominating classes I've seen in years. All these, I think every one of them deserve to be in. Every one of them.
I agree. I think it is the strongest list I've ever seen. But on that same note, I am a big fan of a lot of those artists.
Oh, me too, yes.
So I feel biased in my voting. So what is your voting criteria for who belongs in the Rock Hall?
They have to... I know what they have to be. Their first album has to be what? Is it 20 years or is 20 years between the time? But what I'm saying is they have to be, to me, in opinion, they've changed music in some way.
Right.
They've influenced many bands. Chicago has influenced many bands. Cheap Trick, of course, has influenced many bands. But Deep Purple, who should have been on there a long time ago, and yes, you talk to any metal band, they go back to Deep Purple. Smoke on the Water is the riff that everybody learned when they first played guitar. Yeah. My opinion why Deep Purple hasn't been in when they were first eligible, which was years ago, is beyond me.
Blows my mind as well. I look at all of the things you said, plus one of the things that I look at is a band who's created a genre. And I look at NWA, and they created a genre. And why are they not in the Rock yet? They've actually been nominated before. I think NWA belongs in there. Cheap Trick. I'm just a huge Rick Nielsen fan, so that's a bad thing for me to get into. But I think Cheap Trick should be in. Love Chicago. Can't tell you how many times I've seen them in concert. Yes. I even saw them at Red Rocks. So I'm kind of biased in that Robert Lamb and his group and. So I think it's the strongest field I've ever seen.
What about Yes? You're a major Yes fan.
I'm a huge Yes fan. And John Anderson said straight up, he said, I can't believe we've been nominated, but I can't believe it's taken that long.
And they had to wait for, it was a Chris Squire that passed away.
Yeah.
They had to wait till after he passed. Who was the only member, a little trivia for you, he's the only member to be in every incarnation of Yes.
Really?
Yeah, Chris was. Yeah, the bass player. He was the only one member to be in every incarnation of Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm as you know, I'm a huge fan. But a lot of those acts I'm into. I agree with you on the Deep Purple thing.
Yes.
Very much created their own type of music and belong to be in there.
Now, my question is, if Deep Purple gets in, and during the ceremony, is Richie Blackmore going to show up and play with them?
Wow.
That's what I want to know. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Wow. So, love the Cars. Right. Chaka Khan is who she is. She really created a genre, if you think about what they were able to do. Nine Inch Nails has been nominated before. I think a lot of people think it might be too early for them. I don't know if I agree with that. Love the Smiths. I just don't think a lot of people understand or know their music. And the Spinners, unbelievable act. So who do you nominate? Who gets in? That'll be interesting. Over 800 artists and other various media members get to vote. Randy is not one of them.
Unfortunately. Do you know there's 2 Ohio connections on there, by the way?
I didn't know that. Who's that?
Well, you have Nine Inch Nails with Trent Reznor.
Right.
And you have Benjamin Orr in the Cars. Who's
also
from
sure.
The Cleveland area.
So
there's two, who's the late Benjamin Orr, sorry. But, so there's 2 Ohio connections on there.
Yeah, I had the Ben Orr 45 when he went solo.
Yeah, I remember that back in the 80s.
What was that song?
Sex on the Beach. That was one of them.
Yeah, it wasn't that one.
But he had a couple. That was one of them.
Poppy tune.
Yeah, that was. No, he was. Yeah. Anyways.
So you vote Deep Purple.
Oh, of course, and
I agree. I vote NWA. I think they deserve to be in. I just think what they've done or what they did to music puts them in. But all the other ones, I agree with. But definitely NWA, Deep Purple, Cheap Trick.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. Good stuff.